Hey everybody, it's me, Dan. Nathaniel's behind the camera today. We're here at Fort William Henry. As you can tell, the fort only lasted 2 years. That's because the fort was captured by the French during the French and Indian War, which was part of the 7 Years' War between France and England. It was captured by the French and burned to the ground. The fort itself was built in response to the French further north of here building fort. They actually built two forts. The one in particular, this was in response to, was Fort Charlton, which was the French were going to use to attack Fort Edward, which is about 10 miles south from here. And then, in response to this fort, the French built another fort, which became Fort Ticonderoga. It's a mouthful there. But this fort is significant in American folklore because of James Fenimore Cooper's book, Last of the Mohegans. This fort and the siege of the fort is the backdrop of the story. The story itself was inspired by the painting The Murder of Jane McCrae, which took place during the American Revolution. She was an actual person. She was actually killed by Native Americans. And the British and the colonists used that as propaganda. But James Fenimore Cooper used that story for the backdrop, and he set it during the French-Indian War with the siege of Fort William Henry as the backdrop. We're going to take a tour of the fort. It is a guided tour, so I will not be commenting as much. I'm going to try to get as much as the tour guide as possible. Hope you enjoy.
So wouldn't you know that our pay is pretty good? You know, he realizes that he's got to lure us away from our family, our farm, our businesses, and so on. So he offers the basic private provincial soldier 20 cents a day for his service. It's a good sum of money. But let's remember, folks, that there were bounty monies, enlistment bonuses, extra money for bringing your own clothing and your own firearms. Where at the other end of the spectrum, you had the British Redcoat, or regular. They were professional soldiers. Their job was to be a soldier, right? And they were provided with all of their equipment, their beautiful uniform, weaponry, and so on. Because of this, they would receive 8 cents a day pay. But after deductions of all of that wonderful stuff that they've got, they're only allowed to keep 2 cents of that. Can you believe it? Yeah, that's their 2 cents, folks. Don't know what else to say. Now, provincials will end up with uniforms. Some colonies, like Massachusetts, will purchase uniforms earlier on for their troops. And then, of course, others will go to extreme lengths once King George has offered to reimburse these colonies for every dime that they spend. Connecticut, however, takes a much more cautious approach, and really we don't even know why, but I suppose nobody's going to write down on a piece of paper that they don't trust the king, right? Because we all know what could happen if we say that. That's why we're going to forget that I even said that.
I'm Corporal Cladis, as well as another member of the 1st Connecticut Regiment of Foot. Today we're going to talk about a 6-pound bronze field gun. Can any of you tell me why it's called a 6-pounder?
Fires a 6-pound shot.
Shot weighs 6 pounds. Now we do get that one person that likes to say the gun weighs 6 pounds. In that case, I invite them to come pick it up. Because I can tell you right now, it does not weigh 6 pounds. The gun weighs closer to about 900, but it does fire that 6-pound iron ball. The reason it's called a bronze gun, that's because the tube or the barrel here is made of bronze. A much stronger metal alloy, better than the iron guns. I'm sure you learned down below with Private Draper that the iron guns that were here had an unfortunate ending with someone's wonderful idea of dumping buckets of cold water on them when they're red hot. Now the reason it's called a field gun is because that's the carriage it sits upon. The large smoked wheels, the tail on the end, allows for easy maneuverability on the battlefield. Me and my gun crew could pick this thing up, move it whichever way we wanted to with ease. But all that maneuverability comes at a cost. Do any of you have an idea of what that is? Well, maybe. I think I heard it. That's speed. What happens when a gun goes off? What does it do? Recoil, that's it. This gun recoils anywhere between 10 to 15 feet, not necessarily straight back. It can hop right, crushing you folks, hop left, crushing you folks. It can dig its tail into the ground, flipping end over end, killing us all. The Royal Artillery is hiring, by the way, so let me know if you want a job. I hope my sales pitch worked well. That's why you don't want to see a carriage like this up on top of a fort or on board a ship. You're more likely to see those. Naval or Garrison trucks, the heavier base, 4 small wheels, allows for a lot less recoil. It also will be block and tackle to the wall with thick, heavy ropes to help stabilize it. It'll go back about 3 feet, then swing back into position. Whoever's in between the wall and the gun, do you think they're having a good day? No, because whatever limb they just had squished, they're going down to the surgeon to have it cut off, because who needs hands and feet? Now, this gun with its 6-pound iron ball, 2 pounds of black powder, has a maximum firing range of around 12 to 1,400 yards. Accurate within 1,000, but let's say deadly at 700 to 800. If you all want to stand up or look through the gun for, I'll give you an idea of how far away that is. Stand up and look for that big tan building right up on the hill. Big strange flag flying in front of it. I've never seen that one before. You all see that? That's a Holiday Inn. Any of you staying there? Wonderful decision, because we can hit that. That's 746.3 yards from here. That's half our distance. We can hit that all day long if we wanted to, making new ACs, windows, whichever one you guys want. Now, if I'm out on the open battlefield, though, we're more likely to see a carriage of this type squaring up against opposing infantry. I'll let them get within about 200 yards, then I'll call for grape shot. That smaller iron ball is wrapped up in a cloth or linen sack. When it's fired out, it opens up into a 60-foot cone of death and destruction. Captain William Eyre will note right over there at the Battle of Lake George that his grape shot will cut lane streets and alleyways through the French regulars, much like mowing wheat with a scythe. It's also noted men disappearing from their neck to their knees. A gun this size will take something similar to musket balls, but you get to the 32-pounder, the biggest gun used in North America. That will use around a half-pound or even 1-pound iron balls. Now, like I said, I would have a larger gun crew, like a 6-man gun crew, but it only takes 2 Americans to do the work of 6 Brits, so we'll be just fine. Now, first thing he's going to do is handle the worm and search the piece. No, this is not the first order in any British artillery handbook. We do it up here for safety reasons. After all, we are an operating museum now. We do have young ones running around. I never know which one of these guys threw their action figure down this gun, then I fire it out and hit a kid at the skate park. So I'm going to handle his rammer, spring rammer. That clear belt's on lets us know the gun is clear and safe to load. Handle your charge. Charge piece, rundown charge. Note how my thumb is over the vent hole. It's known as tending the vent. The swift motion of the rammer, my thumb over the vent hole, creates a vacuum seal inside of the breech, seating the charge nicely there. Also, it's cloth sacks, right? I don't do that. He throws down that next charge. He starts fanning the embers. What happens? Boom! Off goes his arm, my ramrod. Now do some math for me, folks. He has 2 arms. I have 1 ramrod. What do I need back? My ramrod. He's got another arm. I'll then take my gunner's pick needle or priming wire, typically made of an opposite material to cannon, so there's no sparks. The sparks mean I have no more eyebrows and a freshly cleared out nasal system. What I'll do is poke some holes in that charge to help expose the black powder. Now another member of my crew would step up with a large powder horn strapped to his waist, and he would prime the gun for me. On board ship in the 18th century, it wasn't uncommon. How old are you, lad? 12? What about you? All right, you're a musician. You're perfect. What about you? In the orange, how old are you?
14.
14? Oh, he's a musician. What about you? 12? You? 11? What about you? Perfect. You all can be powder monkeys. Now you might ask what that is. That's a small lad with a large powder horn strapped to his waist, and he's going to round the perimeter of a ship, priming all the guns by the order of the gun captain. Wow, that might sound like a heck of a lot of fun, right? Parents, right? If you want them to enlist, all you have to do is sell them to us for a few cents. 1 less mouth to feed, right? I'm not joking about that either. Now, if you survive being a powder monkey, you know, with your fingers, hands, heads intact, you'll have a lucrative career in the British military to look forward to after that. Now, the Lord Governor Cuomo and all of his ruling glory over the proud county of New York State said it's not a good idea for us to have small children running around large amounts of gunpowder. I don't see the problem in it. I think it's great exercise, teaches good discipline, but he said no. So instead I got to use some musket charges like you guys saw down below. Now, in the meantime, my gunner has prepared his linstock. That's an old Dutch term for matchstick. Typically on it would be a few feet of hemp rope dipped in a saltpeter and water solution, then allowed to dry, turning it into slow match. Because it'll smolder rather than burn at a rate of about an inch or 2 an hour, long enough to get us through a hot fight in the 18th century. But it's no longer in the 18th century, it's 2021. We're on top of an old dry wooden fort that's burned down twice before this. I don't want to burn it down for a 3rd time. So instead of having burning embers up here all day long, we're going to use some cannon fuse because it's much safer and will put itself out for us when we're done. 3 commands to fire this piece. The first one is take care. Take care is the first command given above any other in the 18th century, and that's due to the fact that 75% of the Army is 17 to 22-year-olds. Parents, this is your time to answer. When do kids listen? Or teenagers? Never, right? So you guys shaking your head. So you have to scream take care to get their attention. It basically means listen up, you idiots. Something's about to explode. The next command is make ready. At that time, if you want to plug your ears, that's the perfect time to go ahead and do so. Also open your mouths a wee bit, equalize pressure in your eardrums. So when the gun goes off, it doesn't turn your brains to mush, and I can clean it up after, because I'll tell you right now, it's gross. And then if you want to get a picture of this wonderful occasion, get your device up with your finger just over the button, not on it, just over it. Because when I say give fire, this gun's going to go bang, your finger's going to flinch, taking the picture for you, and you'll have memories that last a lifetime. Works 9 times out of 10. You guys ready? Take care. Make ready. Give fire. I see him now at the Honey, and they got some guy's underwear on a stick, and they're going like this. Now his job's not yet done. He's going to handle that worm again, going back to work, searching the piece, looking for any leftover embers of that last shot. Not finding any, he's going to handle the the sponge into ramrod wrapped in old rags and sheep's wool, dipped in a water and vinegar solution, then run through the gun. That vinegar will help fight that corrosive black powder, and the water will help cool it as well. He'll then handle the rammer one last time, spring rammer. Gun is clear, gun is safe. Give him a round of applause, folks, for doing the work.